the lights off. See that? And we showed you how America is dumping money and weaponry in Ukraine and training Ukraine, which is NATO. It just ain't no paperwork. Training military, training men in NATO war tactics. The NATO standards to fight on Russia. And now Russia is running through them.
Right.
You see? It's running through them, man. Instead of having to pump money, instead of having to pump weapons over there. If they were doing so much of a good job, why you gotta keep dumping money over there? Why you gotta keep pumping weapons over there?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Go ahead, bro.
This is verse 8. For regarding not wisdom.
For regarding not wisdom, man. None of these people, man, they don't regard the wisdom of YAHAWASHI, man. Go ahead.
They get not only this hurt, that they knew not the things which were good.
You see, they knew not the things that were good, man. They didn't know they were just living in wickedness, man. Building, marrying, you know, in agreements with all the wickedness, man. They didn't know. Go ahead.
But also left behind them to the world a memorial of their foolishness.
A memorial of their foolishness, man. He burned Sodom and Gomorrah in 5 cities, and he said, look, that's a memorial for their foolishness. Same way America gonna be. What these Edomites talk about. Yo, America gonna last forever, such. Man, you foolish. The stupidity of them, the stupidity of these people. You see? Go ahead.
So that in the things wherein they offended, they could not so much as be hid.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So verse 9. But wisdom delivered from pain those that attended upon her.
That's verse 9. So, wisdom is the one that's going to deliver you from pain, man. The words of the Heavenly Father and His Son, man. You see? So go back
Jack Russell
to
people
Luke.
one time to a show, and they got absolutely obliterated. And yeah, I had to remind him.
All right, this is back in Luke chapter 17, and I was in verse.
Concerning Lot's wife.
I'll start at 31. It says, in that day, he which shall be upon the housetop, and his stuff is in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. Remember Lot's wife. It says, verse 33, whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it.
So if you establish, you know what I'm saying, you got all this and you got all that, you know, and you're in agreement with the way this world lives, right? And you seeking to save your life. You're considered an unbeliever, man. Like Lot's wife. You're considered an unbeliever. You're seeking to save your life, man. In this world, man. Meaning, continue on in the way this world lives, man. You want this to continue on, man. That's how you say considering saving your, that's how you consider saving your life. You want what's going on in this world to continue on, man. You're in agreement with it. You approve of it. You see, considering Oh yeah, yeah. I approve of this. This life. This is the way it's supposed to be. Go ahead, bro.
It says, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it.
Whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. Right? We don't agree with this place, right? We want this place to go. We believe that this is not the right way. We believe the words of YAHAWASHI is supposed to be set up and established on the earth, man. We believe everything is upside down, man. And the words of YAHAWASHI set things right, man. You see? Go ahead.
So verse 34. I tell you, in that night there shall be two men in one bed.
I tell you, in that night shall one man, what did it say?
So there shall be two men in one bed.
It shall be two men in one bed, man. Considering judgment, man. Okay? That's judgment. Because one gonna be taken and the other one not. Okay? Go ahead.
The one shall be taken and the other shall be left.
Go ahead.
This is verse 35. Two women shall be grinding together, the one shall be taken and the other left.
So, the one who's left, that's an unbeliever. Okay? There's going to be a separation, man. You see? There's going to be a separation, man. And I'm going to show you something else, man. Let me get this lined up, man. I got something else, man. Let me get this lined up. See where we at. I messed that up, didn't I? I'm looking at this. I completely got up out of there. Let me see. And it's raining on us. Lord willing, we can get through this. I want y'all to listen to this right here. They say. I want y'all to listen to this right here. Okay? This is Esau, Edom, spilling the beans again. He can't help it, Mike. All right, we back. We had to do some maneuvering, man. We had the battery went dead, so I had to fix the camera right. Then it started raining a little bit too much, so I didn't want to get my camera wet, so we had to move to the rain spot. But before the camera cut off, I was finna get some information that I want y'all to see. But first, I called for Psalm 64 before the camera went off. Well, it probably could have went off, but I called for Psalm 64 and 8. So I want this to come out first before I show you what I want you to see. So go ahead, bro.
All right, this is Psalms chapter 64, verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away.
So they shall make their own tongue fall upon themselves. Who is they? The Edomites. Okay? So we're going, in a minute, we're going to listen to this Edomite spill the beans. You know? So another thing I want the brother to do is get it in different translations. So he got that up. So I want y'all to hear these different translations concerning Psalms 64 and 8. Go ahead.
All right. I'll read the first one. This is Psalms 64. Psalm 64, verse 8. This is the New International Version. It says, he will turn their own tongues against them and bring them to ruin.
So whenever these Edomites are speaking and we use them concerning information, is the Most High, the Heavenly Father, Yahawah, and His Son, YAHAWASHI, is causing them to say what they're saying. And what we do is filter it through the scriptures. Okay? To give it more strength in what they're saying. Go ahead, bro.
All who see them will shake their heads in scorn.
Yeah. We'll shake their heads and look at them and say, damn idiots, fools. You see? Go ahead.
It says, let me see. This is the English Standard Version of Psalm 64, verse 8. It says, they all brought to ruin with their own tongue turned against them. All who see them will wag their heads.
Yeah, that's what it is. By them spilling the beans on the information and what they doing, that brought them to ruin, man. You see? What the Amplify say? No, that's always the goal.
Yeah.
Ain't got nothing.
The same thing. It says,
Okay.
so they will be caused to stumble.
Mm-hmm.
Their own tongue is against them.
Mm-hmm.
All who gaze at them will shake their heads in scorn.
Yeah. So this is what I want to show. Right? This is what I want to show, man. Check this out.
Transform this into something, as the Ukrainian Minister of Defense has openly acknowledged, is a proxy conflict between NATO and Russia. A proxy conflict between NATO and Russia, the goal of which has been expressed by Lloyd Austin, the Defense Secretary of the United States, to inflict pain on Russia. That's it. Kill Russians. That's the only goal here, is to kill Russians. Russia's not going to play that game. Russia's going to win this war. Understand that. And so the war will be won in the coming months. Russia has mobilized 300,000 troops, and those troops will be put into combat operations. Those combat operations will be decisive in scope and skill, singularly focused on destroying Ukrainian ability to wage war, both militarily and politically. This will happen. There's nothing that's going to stop it.
Okay, but when we have those... Okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
Right, so I just want to make it clear, because when you say, okay, Russia's going to win the war, that means they're going to impair the Ukrainian military capacity to the extent that it will, impair, destroy, whatever.
Kill Ukrainians. Let's be clear.
Right. Okay.
It's not impair. It's not impede. It's not get in the way. It's not make inconvenient. They're going to slaughter the Ukrainian army.
Right, which is
straight up honest with you.
Yeah, okay.
That's what war is.
Which is what they have been doing for quite a while now.
No. They've been waging a limited conflict. I'm here to tell you right now, what has been happening to the Ukrainian forces, as terrible as has been part and parcel of a limited scope special military operation where Russia has not applied itself doctrinally. That's why
I was thinking
to go to war against Ukraine.
Right.
Altogether.
Okay, I was thinking about this when I said that they've been doing that for a while. I was thinking about this, what's been happening in Bakhmut and around Bakhmut, because even Prigozhin was making statements about this being a meat grinder and stuff like that. So I was thinking that perhaps at least around this area they have been doing that. But anyway, okay, so you agree with this? I mean, there's going to be a major escalation. I mean, there's going to be a major move on the side of Russia, which is going to be a response in your what you said is going to be a response to the escalation that began basically April last year. So this is going to be the next phase of the same escalation, only Russia is going to be making some great moves. But do you think do you think that it is going to look like some major offensive? Because many analysts are like, and many people who are discussing the war, they are saying like, oh well, Russia is not really prepared to make those arrow offensives. I didn't even know that term before. Right. So I wonder, do you think that it's really changing now, or it's about to change? That now Russia is going to massively move in, and when they move in, that means I understand that they're focusing mainly on what they, demilitarization, denazification. I understand that, but does it mean also that they're going to be pushing forward in terms that general public can understand, like they're going to be taking territory, taking Kiev, I don't know, attacking other urban centers? Do you have any predictions with regards to how the dynamics of this process, how it's going to go?
Well, we'll start with big picture. I mean, Russian goals and objectives: demilitarization, denazification remain unchanged. Demilitarization is a military problem. In short, it means the destruction of the Ukrainian military. Plain and simple, the destruction of the Ukrainian military. That's it. Denazification is a political problem. That means the destruction of the Ukrainian state. These are the two objectives. The Ukrainian military will be destroyed on the ground by the Russian military. The Ukrainian state will be destroyed primarily through the air by the Russian Air Force. We've already seen that begin. The attacks on Ukrainian electrical production grid. Ukraine's ability to produce electricity is dropped precipitously. It may end altogether. Ukraine's what is their economic output is about as close to zero as it can get, and their future is not bright. It's $1 trillion in infrastructure damage, probably going to be double that by the time Russia finishes. Ukraine will be destroyed as a modern nation state, and the current government will be politically neutered. It will be eliminated. It will be made impossible for Zelensky to set foot in Ukraine, because Russia is going to humiliate him and humiliate that government and destroy their viability as a political force through the destruction of Ukraine. This is horrible. I'm not gloating over this. This doesn't make me happy. I'm simply saying this is the state of affairs as we see it. Now, when you say no big arrow offense, no, look, Russia has been doing one thing since the very beginning of this conflict, and that's escalation management. Russia does not want a conflict with NATO. Does not want a conflict with NATO. And Russia is not seeking a conflict with NATO. Russia doesn't want to do anything that would encourage NATO to intervene militarily, which means Russia will proceed carefully. Carefully is the opposite of big arrow. Big arrow is we're going to roll in there like George Patton or Zhukov or whatever you want to say, big arrow deep and all that. No. First of all, Russia doesn't have the capacity to do that. Russia would have to double, triple the amount of troops available to it to do big arrow offenses. Russia's going to do very measured attacks that achieve very specific results. The first result will be the liberation of all Russian territory. Now, when I say Russian territory, I know there will be those who say it ain't Russian territory. I'm sorry, from the Russian perspective, the territories that were incorporated under in the aftermath of the referendum under Article 64 of their Constitution is Mother Russia, and Russia is going to take control of every square centimeter of that land, which means they're going to push the Ukrainians not only off that territory, but because Ukraine has shown a proclivity to fire artillery into civilian centers like Donetsk and others, Russia will push the Ukrainians back beyond artillery range, which means that the lines will go back approximately 100, 120 kilometers. That will be modified based upon terrain, which might have to take more territory to secure. This is a bare minimum of the territorial things that will take place. Russia may also opt to acquire new territories such as Kharkov, the old list of Kharkov, and make it part of Mother Russia through a referendum process as well. Again, Vladimir Putin made a statement the other day that everybody needs to pay attention to, that Russia will protect the interests of the Russian people around the world. He will guarantee their right to speak their language, to worship the way they want to worship, to live as Russians. And if people aren't willing to let them live as Russians, then Russia will help them live as Russians. So that doesn't bode well for parts of Ukraine where there are ethnic Russian majorities, and those ethnic Russians feel that they have been oppressed by the Zelensky government. And it's not theoretical. I mean, Arestovich, the advisor to the Ukrainian president, resigned yesterday because he gave a remarkably open interview to the Ukrainian media, where he was horribly critical of the Ukrainian government's policy towards ethnic Russians. He said, what do you expect them to do? And he's right. What do you expect them to do?
For once, he said something. Yes.
For once, he said something right, and now he's on the Mirator's hit list next to me. I'm very proud to have him on the list. But I'm joking. But my point is that, you know, Russia has been pushed into a corner, and you know, there's an old saying that Russians are slow to harness but fast to ride. I mean, it takes them time to get going, but once they get going, they're off. And the world is about to find out what happens when you harness Russia and Russia starts to go off. It's going to be a completely different thing. And Russia's setting the stage not just militarily, but politically as well. Look at the absolute divorce that's taking place between Russia and the European Union, the European Commission. Russia is saying none of the treaty arrangements that exist with Europe are in effect anymore. We are done with Europe. We don't care about Europe. Europe doesn't matter. We are a sovereign state. We will handle everything based upon the notion of national sovereignty. That's an absolute divorce from the direction Russia was going previously, where they were making a good faith effort to incorporate themselves in the West. That day's done. And that also triggers, you know, a new political reality in Russia, where any Western analyst who's trying to assess what Russia's up to, which direction Russia's going to, has to delete all previous analytical patterns, because they don't apply anymore. Russia's not trying to be a part of the West anymore. Russia doesn't care about the West anymore. And this is a huge game changer.
That's what I wanted y'all to hear, man. I know it was a little long, but I wanted y'all to hear that last part, man, to where Russia is basically separated themselves, man. You see? Separated, man. I wanted that was the main part I wanted. You know what I'm saying? The information was good, but that main part is that last part is what I wanted y'all to hear, man. Russia separated itself from Europe, man. You see? So, read what you got again in Psalms 64 and 8.
All right, this is Psalms chapter 64, verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away.
So what Scott Ritter is bringing out is showing you how these Edomites are doing each other, and showing you how they divided. You see? Showing you how these Edomites are doing each other, man, and how they divided, man. You see? They divided. Go ahead.
Continue on.
Yeah.
Psalms.
Yeah.
So verse 9. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider of his doing.
So when America gets destroyed for what it has, for what it's doing in the earth, and how these Edomites had the Israelites in captivity, doing what they were doing to us as a people, how they were governing the earth, how they doing all these abominable acts. When America gets wiped out, then these people are going to consider wisely and say, look, them Edomites was fools, thinking they was going to last forever for what they doing to the chosen people, man. They was fools, man. You see? They were fools to think that the Heavenly Father and His Son don't exist. They were fools to make mockery of His chosen people while they was in captivity, man. Ruling over them. They were fools. You see? They're going to wisely consider that, man, when this place gets destroyed, man. You see? So, America, NATO, Russia, these Edomites, they all divided, man. They all divided. So go back to Luke.
This is back in Luke chapter 17, and we were in verse 36. Two men shall be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left.
The one that's left is the unbeliever. Go ahead.
So verse 37. And they answered and said unto him, Where, Lord? Question. And he said unto them, wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagle be gathered together.
Now, this is my thing. You know when some dead, the fowls of the heaven hover, you can see them in the sky.
Yeah.
They're hover because of the dead, they're dead and that smell.
Right.
So that's what YAHAWASHI was saying concerning this great judgment, man. It's gonna be a lot of dead people, and the stench is gonna be there. And just like you see the birds in the sky hovering over something, it's gonna be everywhere, man. That's what YAHAWASHI is saying, man. Read it for me again, bro.
All right, this is Luke chapter 17, verse 37. And they answered and said unto him, where, Lord YAHAWASHI? And he said unto them, wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagle be gathered together.
You see? And when you look up that word eagle, I think it goes into vulture. You see? I want to say it goes into vulture. But going back up to verse 24 and 25 and all that concerning Luke 17 and 24, verse 24, 25, get what those people were doing. They were eating, drinking, and giving in the marriage. They were building, planning, living their life. And they, going into Lot's wife, they agreed with what was going on. You see? They agreed with it. In the same way these people do today. They agree with the conditions of America, man. They think that this place is okay and they accepting it and they think that it shouldn't get burnt. But how about YAHAWASHI gonna burn it, man? You see? So the brother looking up that word eagle right there in Luke, and does it go into vulture? The water for that, bro. So you got anything? So that was the end of that particular verse in Luke, and that was the end of that chapter, right? Alright. So we're gonna face the east. And I like to give all praises to Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elder apostle GMS who rule well. Salute you, brothers and sisters. Salute you, brothers. Salaka. Salute you, brothers, in pushing this word and truth and sincerity and strength by YAHAWASHI. And shalom to you, brothers and sisters, growing in trust and spirit by YAHAWASHI. Shalom to you too. So with that, Mawafla Babylon,
Mawafla Babylon,
Mawafla Babylon,
Mawafla Babylon,
and Mawafla 2/3 Shalom. Stay strong, search the scriptures, and pray for deliverance.